That's right. I bet you thought it was time for a Convene Communities podcast, didn't you?
That's right. Everybody did because
Fooled ya.
everybody's so excited about that being on the Convene Communities podcast and watching it. But no, we are live with the Laurel Marr, the Death Doula. How are you doing, Laurel?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. So this is pretty exciting. You know, we're growing as Convene, but you're actually growing probably one of the most amazing communities inside of Convene Communities. And so we wanted to talk about how actually you're taking it to the next level. And we'll get into that about how your death doulas are actually coming in and they're creating their own business through your training and through your community. So first, what's a death doula?
All right. Well, a death doula, some people are calling them end-of-life doulas, but the same role applies to both names. We are servants in the end-of-life care field. So we help families who maybe an individual is dying, maybe a family has someone in their family that's dying. We help them with all aspects from end-of-life planning to the actual death process to after death with grief care and funeral planning. There's nothing that a doula cannot do other than we are not medical. We cannot administer medication. We can't administer even the hospice drugs. We cannot, put a Band-Aid on, but we can help with the end of life process by being a companion and helping educate families with what goes on at the end of life.
Yeah, and that's where you work hand in hand kind of with hospice. And
Yes, we do.
you actually talk about some of that relationship inside of your community, inside of your training. So talk a little bit before we get to this, what we're specifically here to talk about, talk a little bit about your training.
Yes. Well, my training program it consists of two modules. Module 1 is a theological training curriculum, and module 2 is the end-of-life doula, the death doula practitioner training curriculum. So the reason I've divided it into the two modules like this is that from my belief system, it is that we must have a foundation in Christian theology to fully understand what it means to be a human being and face death in this life and have hope that there is life beyond death, which is an eventual resurrection from the dead when Christ returns. And in between our death and that resurrection, that we are with Christ, and we will be with Christ, and those that have already died are with Christ.
Yeah, that's
so
perfect.
So I lay out that foundation, which sets the stage for being the caregiver, the companion, the doula, the servant that goes alongside with families throughout the whole end of life process.
Yeah, perfect. So if that's something you're interested in learning more about, you can click on the QR code up in the corner. That's really great. And go join Laurel's community and get in touch with her. But here's the deal. I go through your training. Me and Doc go through your training. And then we want to create a business. It's not just about going through your training. When you are certified as a death doula, now you're a business, right? And so we're going to take it to the next level. And that's kind of what this live is about, is talking about that. So talk about that real quick.
Yes. So I want to say that in module 2, which is the practitioner curriculum, I'm actually joined with a few other professionals. One of those is a hospice nurse. One of them is a sales coach, and that sales coach is helping doulas understand how to sell the value of what they offer. And within that too, the training doula will learn how to fully set up a business. So they don't have to have business skill on their own to be a doula. It is all part of module 2. And in that training as well, this next part that we're going to get into about, how a doula, a trained and certified doula, can use the Convene Communities platform to grow their business, is all incorporated in that training as well.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
So how does Convene help you? So that's what we'll talk about here. And let's kind of get into that for the rest of this interview.
Great.
So put the slide up there if you don't mind, Doc, if you can.
Slow your roll, pal. I've only been up for an hour. Leave me alone.
All right. So how does Convene help you run a successful doula business?
Well, let's start again. So a doula has come through module 1 and module 2. I have certified them, and they will join a continuing education, continuing collaboration group, which will continue to help them develop their business and give them an opportunity to become a member of Convene through being having a private membership or a premier membership, where they can actually house their business that I've taught them how to start inside of the Death and Resurrection Doula community, which is based on Convene Community's platform. So
Correct.
that's the essence of it. Yes.
Yeah, so we talk about that all the time because I think it's such a wonderful model. Is you're going to break it down state by state, and you'll have state leaders. So it's not just you're kind of the national leader, but you'll have state leaders. So that's wonderful because now, let's say, we have three different states represented here. You're in Virginia, Doc is over in Missouri, and I'm in North Carolina. So if you and I were talking, and I said, "Hey, Laurel, I have a relative that's near end of life and they're in Missouri. Do you know anybody in Missouri that might be able to help them?" Well, yes, Doc, Andy Barker's inside of the state of Missouri. So you can go to that, click on the state of Missouri, and their Doc is leading that. And you're creating a national registry of
Yes.
faith-based death doulas across the country.
Well, national and international.
Yeah, and international, yes.
Right. So doulas all over the world can find, a doula in their area. Now, I do want to say, this is a new program. This program has been up, I've been creating it this year, 2023. I have a host of doulas inside right now, probably from 15 different states and countries. And so this will continue to grow. We're going to have state leaders. We'll have regional leaders. So if Doc decides to be the state leader of Missouri, there are, regions of Missouri that he can help coordinate with those other doulas. And then under that, it's just, more doulas, because not everybody wants a leadership position, but the way the opportunities, I want to say, that the Death and Resurrection Doula training program is creating is very immense. And so one thing that's really great too is that, if why be a leader, or what is the impact that a doula can have in their smaller community? Well, beyond helping families, also a doula can bring other people who are interested in being doulas to the curriculum, so we can grow the number of doulas we have in our smaller communities, into our regional communities, into our statewide communities as a whole, nationally, internationally, right? But it starts with trained doulas, being boots on the ground and having the knowledge, and pointing other people who say, "Wow, I really feel called to do that too," to this program. So they are, assured to get a solid theological training and practitioner training, as well as business training, so they can go out and do this too. And so why would someone do it other than because they want to see the growth? Is that they will also do it and they will receive a referral fee from me. So I'm saying thank you for doing this, because I can't reach everyone by myself. And it helps doulas also grow their business, increase their revenue.
Absolutely. So basically what you've done is you've created the perfect franchise model.
Yes.
So talk about step one. When somebody's come in, they've taken your course, they've become a part of it. Everything is built in. So when you're talking about becoming an affiliate or qualified inside of Convene, why would somebody want to do that or need to do that?
Right. Well, this is really where Convene Communities and my community, the Death and Resurrection Doula community, work together. So, what's one of the beautiful things about Convene Communities is that there are many different communities doing different things. I am in the business of end of life care and training, so I can use the resources that Convene offers. So someone signing up to be an affiliate, they don't do that through me. They actually do that through Convene Communities. And so, when they have their business and they're an affiliate, that is something that is between the doula and Convene Communities. I'm the connector of all of that. And,
Yep.
and, and so they need to sign up to be an affiliate, and they're going to do that on the Convene Communities platform. And they have to fill out a W-9 form and have a PayPal account. It's very, very, 2 steps, quite easy.
Yeah, it is very easy. And the deal is we handle, and if you're starting a business, that's one of the things that's kind of hard, right? Is that if you're going out and you're starting a business, you have to get and you want to do things different. You might have to get a merchant account. You might have to do all these different steps, Well, we do it for you. So we take your payment, we pay the payment out to you. We'll send you the W-9 with the taxes and everything that you're responsible for at the end of the year. So it kind of takes that step out of the way for you. Um, and then, so that's easy. It's very simple process, but it's all automated for you, which is really good. But then next thing is that it makes it very easy to share and get people to come in because we built in all these referral links all over the place to be able to share, to be able to get people in there. So the system tracks all that for you.
Yes, it does. It's simple as step one, you set up your referral account by filling out a W-9 and getting a PayPal account. And the great thing about that too is that we'll get into this a little bit more in a minute, but you're not just using that PayPal account for you know another doula you bring in. If a trained doula decides to have a premier membership, their clients that they are contracted with can also pay them through Convene and have private groups inside where they can store their documents and do their work. So it ends up being a place to run your business. A lot of
Yep.
people will buy, like a Square account or something, some other method of being able to receive payments, but all of this can be done through Convene. So you can
Yeah.
you can share your referral link to to bring other doulas in, and also use that so clients can join and pay and house their information in private groups with their
Yeah.
doula.
Well, what's perfect about that, right, is that let's go back to our initial example. I come to you and I say, "Hey, I need somebody in Missouri," and Doc is over here in Missouri, and he says, "Yeah, I can take on clients here in St. Louis. That works perfectly." And he takes on that client, and I brought that client to him, and he says, "Yeah, I'll pay a referral fee out for that client," and he takes the payment through Convene, then he can basically give me a referral fee for that process.
Right.
Is how that works. So,
Exactly.
which is really good, it brings you to the next slide is that by working together and growing a community, we're helping each other. Your community is helping each other increase the revenue across the board.
Right. Right. And that's really important. I have been a doula since the end of 2019, and it's a new profession. It really is. I think that there's a few main training programs that have been around for less than a decade. Like it's really a new venture. And I talk with doulas who have been trained through these different programs, and I was trained in one of them. And the consensus is, we're still trying to articulate exactly what we do to a point where a person who needs a doula can fully understand it and know. Right now, people are hearing this idea, oh, I want a death doula. I think I want an end of life doula. But the consistency with what one person will get versus another is quite wide at this point, and inconsistent. And so one of my goals is to really standardize for my doulas, what does a death and resurrection doula look like? What is the value of a doula? And that people hiring a death and resurrection doula will know exactly what they're getting and why. And so I think this inconsistency has been difficult for consumers to understand exactly why I need a doula, and am I going to be pleased with the service that I'm hiring her or him or her for. So I've had a lot of people inquire about my services and say, well, okay, I'm going to think about it, right? And so it's so new that people are still really working hard to figure that out. So I feel that this growth process through the referral program is really going to build a level of confidence for doulas and for people and for the consumers as well, in a way that is not out there in the other programs at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, so this process is actually working good, but it really comes down to it is a business.
It's a
That's what
business.
you're trying to introduce this to your doulas and the people that are going through and that you're training. So to run a business, you have to have, all the different steps that you have in here. And Convene is the all-in-one platform. It is nothing more than the resource that is allowing you to run this death doula business and allowing you to put that in the hands of all of your trained death doulas that you have.
Yeah, that's right. And, I want to add this too. When I went through training, there was a business and marketing section, and it taught us great things on, what is a contract, you should get some business cards, how to go, how to market your services, go to senior centers, go to churches, go, anywhere that, you might find a clientele, that you can serve. But that was it. And like I've explained, it's been, I'm a pioneer in this field. Doulas who are trained and practicing to this point, and the doula venture are pioneers. And I didn't feel that the program that trained me sent me out with enough tools to actually be successful off the bat. And so that's something that Convene is going to offer, by connecting certified doulas into the Convene platform, all housed under my Death and Resurrection Doula community. So we're continuing to collaborate and communicate that it is going to give doulas in this new field that structure to be successful.
Yeah, perfect. And again, you got your certification program that you have in there. You got Convene Connect, which is you got to be at our CRM, so people have to be able to track their people for sure. The Convene Collab is your project management, so you're running your business, and then obviously the privacy that goes on in there with your clients. If you're going to have clients, you got to be able to have private groups, be able to have private messages, and all those different things. So it's just pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah.
So we're going to do what I'm going to call this. The next part is some rapid fire because your slides kind of take you through the process. So let's kind of go through it really quick. And because we're going to recap a little bit in this.
Yep.
So there you go. How to get started. What do they do?
Right. So they are going to go to the left-hand side of the screen in the gray box and click on Become an Affiliate. And there's some more information to read. If people have questions on the Convene Communities Affiliate Program, there is these steps 1 and 2 to create a PayPal account, submit a W-9 are there, and the links are there to do that. So you don't have to go searching for the PayPal by yourself or a W-9 form by yourself. Everything is there. Instructions for submitting it. It maybe takes 5 minutes.
Yeah,
10 minutes.
very seamless. Very seamless.
Yes.
Okay. So next thing, share your links. It's very simple.
Yes. So there's a couple different places to find them. I think, one of the easiest places is in the community on the information page. There are 4 boxes you can share on social media, or the gray box on the right. You can click that and it copies your link to, your desktop clipboard or your laptop clipboard, and you could go send that in a text message to someone. You could put it in an email. You could go to social media, and I don't think Instagram's listed on there, and post it in your Instagram account, all those things. So very easy. And when someone clicks on that and someone joins through that link, it is automatically saved in Convene.
Yep.
Whose link it is, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And here's the cool thing, not to take away or it's not taking away, but it doesn't matter where they go inside of Convene after that. If they go inside and they buy Eugene Brown's course on how to buy, how to trade stocks, you're going to make a referral fee, and that referral fee sticks with you, which is pretty cool. The next is my Convene. So that slide that you had up, Doc, is perfect because this is another place that you can send emails out with connections.
Right. Yeah. And you can, right, there's two places for my Convene or my profile. You can copy your link um, in one of the, or send an email out from my Convene, or copy your link also in my profile and go, paste
Yeah.
it somewhere. So yeah.
Absolutely, which is good.
Mhm.
So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool because if once you share it out and you grow and you do it on like social media or you send something directly to them, it's got your link embedded in it,
Right.
and it's actually pretty cool. Let's talk
Well,
about
and
this.
under and let me just say this real quickly. And then, later when you start getting people coming in on your link, you can see all that information. There's an affiliate dashboard. You can see it,
Absolutely,
and you can see when someone has made, a payment, and that affects you
yep,
as an affiliate. So, yeah,
absolutely perfect.
great.
So the next, let's just touch back on. This is a franchise model, so this is state driven, which is really really cool. How you have this set up and how you've gone through, and you can see that you have I think 11 states in there that you're getting ready to start building
Mhm.
already, and then you're looking for more. And but you also
Yeah.
have Canada, Scotland over there.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And I want to say, like where I live in Virginia, I work in a church, and I do bookkeeping, but they have given me a platform also for my doula work. And someone came up to me recently and said, "I love what you do. I want to be a companion and sit with people, but I don't want to have a full business, right?" So you don't have to, only join because you're going to have, some business that's growing and growing and growing. Some people are, in their retirement years, and but they're looking for something to do and a way to give back. And so, being a volunteer is wonderful. And even a community doula who has been certified can teach some classes inside of church communities, and raise up some volunteers who do want to be more familiar with the end of life process, and go and sit with people as they're dying, and sit with their families. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, it's a business though. So we're talking about a business model. And so there is a little cost, but it's not bad because you're getting a complete business system in here. So you can
Yeah.
talk about that a little bit.
Right. Right. So each module is $450. And you can take them in tandem if someone wants to pay $900 up front, or they can take one at a time. And they need, a person needs to start with module one, because it does develop a foundation for the work in module two. And then once a doula is certified, they highly recommended, to stay, to be, have your presence in a state, and be into the collaboration effort with everyone else. Because, as I said, this is, a pioneering time for the doula work. And as Christians, I don't think we've said this today, but I'm the first death and resurrection doula training program in the whole world. So if we're growing a movement that's going to be worldwide, we got to be in touch, and we got to collaborate. And
Yeah.
so the joining the association, $20 a month, keeps you in that. You're always getting continuing education. As I continue to grow the curriculum, as things are changing in this movement, which is, there is a movement going, on the secular side. But doulas need to be aware of all of that, right?
Yep.
And we need to be communicating about our place in having a voice as Christians in this movement. And then additionally, there is the 999 and the 59.99, one or the other, that gives you different levels of membership. And that's actually a Convene thing.
Yeah.
So
That's a convenient thing. But that goes back into where like they'll be growing their states or growing their own personal business, and it allows them to take payments through the system and all of
right.
that, which we will. And I say we because you will be teaching them, but I'll also be coming in and working with you on that, explaining how the system works and how the platform works. But I wanted to go back to your membership group, your association. Convene is a collaboration community. And so it's so important that we learn from each other. And so one of the things behind it is like one of the things you have going on in one of your in your certification class is that people are writing their story, writing their experience. So you're learning from each other. That's just wonderful. However, once people are doulas, certain things are going to pop up when they're out in the field and you're working with a client, and that's collaborative learning. That's scenario based training. That's what this platform is all about. And so you're going to be able to go out and you're going to be able to say, hey, I had this client named Doc, and he was, on his way out. And when he was on his way out, he did all this craziness or whatever. And so there's something to learn from that, but that's where that association is going to come in, because all of your doulas across are going to be helping each other learn and it's kind of like that lesson learned. It's kind of like that. Well, what if you had this situation happen to you? How would you handle it?
Right.
And that's the key about that association. It's working together and growing
Right.
together.
It's a place for certified doulas to continue to grow and to have access to me and to the hospice nurse who is part of the training program as well. And I mean, for instance, one of my first clients, she was from South Africa, and her family wanted her ashes in South Africa, even though she died in the United States. And I was the coordinator for that. I actually, opened her ashes, took some out and put them in a small urn for her daughter who still lives here in the States, packaged them back up and mailed them to South Africa. Well, it would have been great to have had someone to ask, about this. And so, I can share that experience and tell people, hey, I did this, or someone could say, hey, I've got to do this. And so, oh, I've done that before, right? Because the sky's the limit on, what a doula may be asked to do. And I'm saying, within reason. I'm not, saying something that is, uncalled for. I'm talking about sending
What
ashes
you're talking about,
across
that's a great
right.
example. Yeah.
Right.
Something
And
you
then
wouldn't
we
think
may
about.
need a little support or even just right there and say, hey guys, I did something really cool today. I did this, right? But it also invigorates us in this movement too, to see the dynamic way that doulas are being helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have discussion boards, you have all kinds of stuff in there that you can do that through,
Mhm.
which is a great thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Next slide is, again, we don't just pay one level, we pay 3 levels. So you're helping each other grow. And as you get in and bring more people in, there's different ways to generate money. So we'll talk about this slide real quick, and then we'll
Yeah.
transition to
Well,
the
that's
next slide
great.
fast.
Well, I mean, for instance, Matt, if, I met you first and you come in and decide to train, and then you meet Doc and he comes in and decides to train, Doc falls to your tier 2. So any time that, um, let's see. So if you purchase the program, that comes, to me on my tier 1, Doc's my tier 2. If he purchased the program, you actually get a kickback from that too.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so do I, right?
Yeah,
So
so Doc will be on my 15%. You're on, and so it goes down from there. And so again, why did we do that? This is for me to say to everybody, why did we do that? We had a guy who was that was coming in to Convene, or we wanted to come into Convene, and he was a youth pastor, and he'd written multiple books, but he had also created quite the following. And so my good friend Robert Downs was like, hey, if I get John Lowe to come over here inside of Convene, and he starts selling stuff, his books and stuff like that through the system, shouldn't I, be a part of that? And so we're like, oh yeah, we should all do it. And look, everybody has an affiliate program now. Amazon has affiliate program. Everybody has affiliate program.
Mm.
So we're no different. It's just that we're helping each other grow, but we decided to make it just 3 tiers instead of just like straight out one. So we can all help spread the wealth and grow.
It's kind of like the internet version of Tupperware.
Such a comedian. That's funny. All right. So next slide is you kind of break it down and show people how this kind of works.
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, each module is $450. So if Matt, you paid $450, you're $900, and you're certified in module 1 and 2, and you go out and you meet Doc, and he comes in and buys, module 1 and module 2, he's on your tier 1. You're gonna make $180 off of that. And then if Doc, meets somebody and they purchase it, Doc will make the 180, and then you'll make $67.50.
That's quick
right?
math. I'm a Marine, and I was doing it. And I was like,
That's great. I came up with 3.
I had to think quick.
Yes. So that is good. And again, the next one, our
Right.
premier membership, you have that broken down, tier 1, 24. And why people would want to do that is because they're creating their business inside of that. You'll get taught
Right.
all of this stuff as you go through this with Laurel.
Right.
We lay
Right.
it out for you.
But just quickly, beyond just the price of the curriculum, if then Matt, he's on your tier one. If he becomes, if he decides to do the premier membership, you will continue to get a referral fee monthly from that. And if you've got 10 people you've brought in, that can add up
It
for sure.
can. And as Doc starts
Mhm.
selling groups and all that, then it still adds up,
Yeah, it does.
which is really pretty cool. So,
It is really cool.
all right, so we'll wrap it up. We'll go to your last slide and let you kind of wrap it up here and talk about, why Convene. You came in and
Yeah.
this kind of Convene kind of answered a need for you. You didn't
Well,
quite know how you were going to do all this stuff, and so kind of wrap it up and talk about it
yeah, you're
and what
right.
you're going to be
Well,
doing.
yeah. So, if I'm saying to people here, I'm going to train you and I'm giving you this really great curriculum, and then I'm using Convene Communities to make it even more dynamic with the affiliate program. I also got to tell you, like, what are you selling? We know you're selling. Is this just that I'm just going to be a doula to go out and find more doulas? No, that's just like one aspect of it. So one part of the training program in the business development is what do doula sales models look like, and inside of these sales models, you will meet other people who want to train. So that affiliate part is just a bonus. But really, you know, we're consultants. We're consultants and practitioners, and we go in and help someone your age, Matt, and your age, Andy, and say, hey, have you thought about your estate planning? I can make
Easy.
that.
I mean, I know I'm old, but no,
No,
I'm just kidding.
we should
Yes.
be thinking about our estate planning when we're healthy.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, that is the hardest part for people at the end of life, is when death shows up on your doorstep, terminal illness, and no planning has been done. That
Laurel,
is critical to having a peaceful end of life experience for
yeah.
you and the people who will survive you.
Laurel, you and I have had this conversation a lot. I was a air medical pilot, did 659 patient flights, was also in the military, saw people lose their life. And in those 659 patient flights, people's lives changed on a dime. Yeah,
Mhm.
they leave the house in the morning and they think everything's okay. They get in a car accident and life has changed. So I asked you one time, uh, when should people start thinking about this? And yeah, you said 18, you should
18.
really be thinking about it because again, the last thing you want to be thinking about when this happens to you, when it unfortunately it happens sometimes at unexpected or at a young age, the last time you want to be as a caretaker or whatever it is, young person, you don't want to be thinking about it when you're in the middle of it. You want to focus
No.
on what's going on. And so having things squared away is so important.
Right. Well, and so, one of the things that doulas learn in module 2 is their practitioner in the practitioner curriculum and business development is, you know, there's a role for a doula in estate planning. It's not just at the bedside at death. So making solid legal referrals to an attorney to, draw up the essential estate documents. But so say, you've done this with your lawyer, but have you talked with your adult children about
Yeah.
your plans? A lot of people have not. And then, an aging parent gets sick and everyone's shocked that they don't want to be resuscitated, or that they don't want, this, or they don't want that. So having these conversations while everybody is as healthy as possible is going to make the process, when that time comes, much more smooth. And you can, set it and forget it, put it there. Everyone knows where the documents are, and you go on with your life. But for instance, in an 18-year-old or a 20-year-old, if there is an accident and that young adult is incapacitated, the burden on the parents to decide, should I allow my child to live, or what did that child want? It's when it's an adult, the decision needs to be theirs and
Yeah.
not the parent. needs to be theirs. And so, so doulas should go in and have these conversations with people. So that's one level. Then the practitioner of actually when someone is dying, oftentimes a doula will be involved with some end of life planning at that some that hasn't been done that should have been done, but they will certainly be involved with thinking more about the funeral and the
Yeah.
death vigil, which is it's just really important. And for Christians, a time of expectation. Now, it is a time of grief, but it's also a time of expectation because we know that death is been defeated by Jesus,
Yeah.
and that we will die, but that it is not the end. We are actually still alive when we die. We're not here on this earth, but we are alive with Christ, and
Yeah.
and that is our great hope. So we can have hope even in the sadness of the vigil. But a really important thing to plan out, and a doula can help you do that. And that's one thing that's different about my training program than the other programs out there is that these vigils, they're making very new age. They're very, death conscious. We want to be death conscious. We want to be aware of the fact that this is why we die. This is what it means, but we have hope. But death consciousness, as in, envisioning the afterlife you want when there is no hope in Jesus Christ, that's not the direction that anyone of my doulas will be trained in.
Absolutely. And when you're getting close to the end, you think it's just amazing that you're the first program out there that is faith-based as a doula. That just blows my mind.
It blows my mind too, but someone got to do it. So
Yeah.
I think Matt needs quite a bit of counseling right now. He's very stressed. I'm not sure what that stress is about. Phone going off email. But yeah, he's. We'll take care of him later.
Well, just so you know, that wasn't my phone. That was Laurel's phone. Maybe.
Yeah.
And my email does keep dinging, and it's I can't.
Well, did you hear that? That was my phone. Well, I do want to say a couple other sales models. Not, it's not just being a consultant and a practitioner. Also, it's going in and supporting churches in their end of life engagement in ministry. And then also, one really great thing through Convene Communities that doulas will have the opportunity is part of the program or part of the curriculum is writing our stories. And so becoming, be a conference speaker, challenge the narrative around end of life care. Medical aid and dying is becoming more and more common in state legislature. And states are pushing this through. We need to talk about it. Doulas can share their own stories. Most of the people coming into my program, they have a really dynamic story that includes the loss of someone they love. And so sharing their stories and challenging the way we do death in our culture, especially in a postmodern society where nihilism and denial of death is quite prevalent. Faith is at a low. The church attendance is low. This is a really important time for these doulas. So, I see it as it functions in a lay role. It's not a priest, not a deacon. It's a lay oriented minister, and it's really, really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I guess this would not be the time for a dad joke.
We'll take a dad joke.
So what I'm hearing you say out of all of this is that in your profession, people are just dying to get in.
They're dying to get in.
There you have it, sports fans. And this is why I don't do comedy.
That's funny. Well, look, I appreciate everything you're doing inside of Convene. I think it's wonderful. We met about a year ago now, and you've come so far. You have, I would say, one of the best communities inside of Convene, one of the most thriving communities, one of the most important communities. And it just proves that you can take a topic. When I first met you, I didn't know what a death doula was. That was my first question when we got on a call. But you can take a topic that's really important. As an air medical pilot, there's two things that are certain in life. You're going to be born, you're going to die, and unfortunately, we're not prepared on the death side so often. And I used to see that all the time. So I think it's very important what you're doing. And I love, that you're bringing faith back into it or adding it to it, which again blows my mind that that's not a part of it, but
That's
an
crazy.
individual's choice, for sure.
It is crazy. Well, I got into this business after working in parish offices for some time, and learned that a family wanted a doula and couldn't find a Christian one, so they actually didn't have a doula, and it put a tremendous amount of pressure on the priest in that parish, because what a family wants is the peace of God. That's what they
Yeah.
want, right? And
Yeah.
so, and the priest delivers that, but it's not only the priest that can deliver that. I'm a Protestant. We say the priesthood of all believers, right? So every lay person can, be very, very instrumental in at the time of death. And this program provides, all the essential training, not to be, a priest by any means, but to be in your vocation as a doula, one who brings peace, and one who brings the good news, and so it's a great program.
Yeah. All right. If you're interested, join button up in the corner, click on it, go learn from Laurel. Just have a conversation, set up a call with her. Great program. If you have a church that might need something like this program implemented in it, get in touch with Laurel. She's working with churches. She's doing all that. So just a great thing that you're doing, Laurel. Doc, you got anything else you want to add?
I would just add that I couldn't agree with you more. Being an emergency room nurse and dealing with death, especially in the younger population, no one is ever prepared for it. So what you're doing is great work, and I take my hat off to you if I had one.
Thanks. Let me thank you, Doc. Let me add a closing note. So we've sort of, formed this around training doulas as being the only ones that can, be a part of this referral program, but anybody can, right? I have a lot of members in my community that aren't going to train. They just want to be a part. They're interested. They want to see the growth. So for instance, Doc, inside my community, you share that information about my training program. You don't have to be a doula to do it or to receive a referral. Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's
So
just
yes.
a structure to add to doulas' businesses that they can be successful and help grow the movement.
Yeah, correct. The way the referral program works, you come in, you share your links, click on Laurel's in Laurel's community, become a member, and then you share her link because you meet somebody who might be interested in being a doula, or you go to a church and they might be interested in it. It does not have to be, again, you don't have to be taking the program to be a part of it and to help Laurel grow and to help the ministry grow. So, which is a great thing.
Yeah.
All right, Laurel, thank you so much for being on. I think this is
Yes.
great, and we'll do it again.
Yes.
Bye-bye, everybody. See you next time.